Hello guys, welcome back to another video tutorial from your channel Aditya Byte. So today in this video we'll discuss on cell signaling. Okay, we'll discuss the overall concept of cell signaling in this video, and also majorly we'll talk on G protein coupled receptor, the detailed process here. So stay tuned with the video. Okay, so now let's know about the cell signaling. What does the cell signaling mean? Cell signaling is simply the method by which a cell communicates with another cell. Yeah, in this what happens is one cell sends the signals to another cell. Yeah, sends the signal to another cell, and according to that the cell responses. Yeah, so this is the basic concept for cell signaling. Okay, now let's see furthermore. Yeah, here you can see here the it have shown very simple indication of cell signaling. Yeah, that is the stages in cell signaling. What actually happens is it takes place in three phases, that is reception, transduction and response. Yeah, actually what happens is the receptor on the cell surface accepts the signal molecule. Yeah, and then by different downstream processes it transduces the signal, and according to that the cell responses. Yeah, so this is the basic idea for cell signaling. Now let's move on. Now let's see the types of cell signaling here. Yeah, types of signals based on where they bind. According to that, according to this, there are two types of receptors. Yeah, they are intracellular receptor and another one is cell surface receptors. Yeah, in intracellular there is a steroid hormones receptor. Yeah, and in cell surface receptor there is a G protein linked, enzyme linked or ion channel linked receptors. Yeah, and today we'll discuss the G protein linked receptor in details. Okay, so let's go on now. Now G protein coupled receptors. Okay, now let's see what it is actually. G protein linked receptors mediate cellular responses to a wide variety of signaling molecules. Yeah, actually G protein linked receptors are in large number. Yeah, if you compare about the other cellular receptors. Yeah, and all possess a similar architecture and consist of a single polypeptide chain that transfers the bilayer in 7 times. As you can clearly see, this receptor is embedded with the membrane 7 times. Yeah, here you can see 7 times. Yeah, so it is also called as 7 transmembrane receptor or serpentine receptor as well. Yeah, this is the idea, guys. So now let's move on. Now G protein mediated signaling. Yeah, this process is called G protein coupled receptor. Yeah, because this receptor further binds with the G protein actually. Yeah, that's why it is called G protein coupled receptor. These receptors active their targets indirectly via a G protein intermediate. Yeah, this was the idea, guys. Here you can see in the diagram here the G protein binds with the enzyme here. Yeah, and activates the enzyme. At first this G protein gets activated. Yeah, whenever any signaling molecules binds with this GPCR which is embedded in the membrane here, and then this activated G protein activates the enzyme, and further downstream processes takes place. We will discuss on later also. Now let's move on. Now let's see the structure of inactive trimeric G protein. Yeah, so here a trimeric GTP binding proteins, that is G protein, functionally couple GPCR receptors to their target proteins, as you have already discussed. Yeah, why it is called GPCR. Yeah, the G protein consists of 3 subunits. Yeah, that is alpha, beta and gamma. The alpha subunit binds guanine nucleotides and is active when bound to GTP. Very important here, guys. Actually this GTP is formed by 3 subunits. Yeah, alpha, beta and gamma. Okay, And when this GDP, actually in alpha subunit the GDP is bound, yeah, and when this GDP is replaced by GTP is substituted by GTP, then the alpha subunits gets activated, yeah, and then further downstream processes takes place. This is the idea for 3 subunits of G protein. Okay, this was the very important concept here, guys. So now let's move on. Now let's see the G protein linked receptors. When GPCR, here you can see when GPCRs bind ligand, they undergo conformational change, yeah, that allows them to interact with G protein, yeah. Okay, this interaction causes the G protein to eject the bound GDP and replace it with GTP, so that the G protein will activate, yeah. So this was the idea. This exchange causes the trimeric to dissociate into 2 activated components, that is the alpha subunit bound to GTP and a beta gamma complex, yeah. This is our important complex here. Okay, so now let's move on. Yeah, here are the overviews. Here actually what actually happens in the process is, here you can see the inactive GPCR, yeah, this is the inactive GPCR, and here is the inactive G protein, yeah. And what actually happens is, whenever extracellular signal molecules binds with the GPCR, then it gets activated, okay. And when this GTP also, when this GTP gets substituted by this GTP, as you can clearly see here, by this GTP, it removes and it gets added, then the alpha subunit also get activated, yeah. Now let's see furthermore. Yeah, then after to that, this activated alpha subunit binds with the membrane bound enzyme furthermore, and then activates the enzyme, okay. And then after to that, further downstream processes takes place, and many intracellular messenger molecules diffuse widely to act on target proteins in various parts of the cell. This is a basic mechanism here. Let's see the here concept. Here receptor activation generally results in the production of intracellular or second messengers that in turn pass the signal on to additional cellular proteins, yeah. 2 of the most common second messengers used in this signal pathway are CAMP and calcium ion, yeah. We'll discuss the further concept as well in detail. So now let's see. Yeah, so these are the structural forms of the adenylyl cyclase, the CAMP, cyclic AMP phosphodiesterase. Yeah, here you can see, yeah, and get the information. Okay, now let's move on. Yeah, for now let's see what the ligands are, yeah, what the signal molecules can be, what are the target tissues. Now let's discuss. Here these are the hormones, yeah, these are the hormones which will act as the signal molecules. Actually these hormones are sent to one cell, from one cell to another cell, yeah, from one cell to another cell, yeah. And this hormone acts on the target tissue, that is thyroid gland, yeah. And according to that, according to the ligand, according to the signal molecules, this thyroid gland will act, show response, and thus increase the secretion, thyroid hormone synthesis and secretion will occur. So this is the basic idea, guys. One cell sends the signal, yeah. Here you can take the hormone as a signal, and the cell as a target cell, and according to that, the signal, the cell operates and the cell responses, yeah. So this was the basic concept here, guys. Now let's move on. Now let's see the concept here, G proteins and adenylyl cyclase, yeah. We'll discuss the detailed process here. Here actually what happens is, ligand binding by some G protein linked receptors results in the activation of adenylyl cyclase, Okay, the alpha subunit of the stimulatory G protein GS carries the signal from this receptor to adenylyl cyclase. Okay, binding to adenylyl cyclase stimulates the intrinsic GTPase activity of the alpha S subunit, and then the hydrolysis of GTP inactivates alpha S and hence adenylyl cyclase as well. Yeah. Okay. The effect of CAMP are primarily mediated by the CAMP dependent protein kinase. Okay. PK activates the transcription of specific genes by phosphorylating, activating regulatory proteins such as CRAVE. Okay, we'll discuss about the CRAVE in detail. CRAVE binds to the CAMP response element, response element in the promoter region of genes and stimulate their transcription. Okay, and after to that transcription, the mRNA relevant mRNA are formed, and this mRNA are released into the cytosol, and further translation takes place, and the protein are formed, and according to that the cell responds. This is the basic idea. Okay, yeah. Now let's discuss the GPCR in detail actually. Yeah, here guys, here you can see the signal molecule binds to the GPCR. Here the GPCR gets activated. Okay, and here the activated alpha subunit of stimulatory G protein is this. Okay, as the GTP is being bounded with the alpha subunit. Yeah, and after to that this activated G protein, alpha S G protein, binds with the adenylyl cyclase and activates it. Yeah, this is the basic idea. And after the activation, what's the work of adenylyl cyclase? The enzyme is to convert the ATP into cyclic AMP. This is the very important term here, guys. The work of this enzyme is to convert ATP into CAMP. Okay, very important concept here, guys. Yeah. Okay, the intracellular effect of increasing CAMP levels. Okay, now let's see what actually happens. Yeah, after the conversion of ATP to cyclic AMP. Okay, yeah, cyclic AMP, what actually happens is, here if we see this cyclic AMP will bind to some other kinase proteins. Okay, some other kinase protein. Here it is inactive PKA. Okay, these are kinase proteins actually. Yeah, and this cyclic AMP, and if you see here, okay, yeah, let's see in detail here. Yeah, so these are the so this is the protein kinase A. Okay, here this white part is the regulatory subunit, and this blue part is the inactive catalytic subunit. Yeah, in this what actually happens is, this newly formed CAMP will bind to the regulatory subunit. Yeah, as you can clearly see, will bind to the regulatory subunit, and it deactivates these regulatory subunits. Yeah, and this inactive catalytic subunit gets activated and gets separated. Yeah, here. Okay, now let's see further. Yeah, now after to that what happens is, let's see the increased CAMP influences gene expression in the nucleus. Now let's see how. Yeah, here you can see the activated PKA, the catalytic part enters into the nucleus. Now enters into the nucleus through a nuclear pore. Enters into the nucleus by the nuclear pores. Okay, and after to that this activated PKA activates the inactive CRAVE. Okay, present in the nucleus. CRAVE is actually the response element, yeah, present in the target gene inside the nucleus. Okay, now this CRAB will be activated, will be activated and phosphorylated CRAB, by the action of this activated pKa. Okay guys, now with that also CRAB binding protein will bind, as you can clearly see here, this part. CRAB binding protein will also bind and will activate it. Now the cellular response will form and thus the transcription will take place, as CRAB is nothing but the transcription factor. Okay, it is a transcription factor. Okay, now this will go for transcription and form a most relevant mRNA, and this mRNA will be released into the cytoplasm or cytosol, and further translation will take place and relevant proteins will form, and according to that protein the cell will respond. The cell will respond. So this was the basic idea for GPCR here. GPCR CAMP mediated pathway. Okay, GPCR CAMP mediated pathway. Okay, and this CAMP and this CAMP here, if we see, this CAMP are also called the secondary messenger. Okay, are called secondary messenger because it is the first molecule to show response in the cell. Okay, and it also relays the information of the GPCR, which is bounded in the plasma membrane, to the cell for the downstream process. Means it is receiving the information second time. That's why it is called secondary messenger. Okay, clear guys? So this was the overall concept for GPCR CAMP mediated pathway. Okay, now there are also another pathway called PIP2 pathway or IP3 mediated pathway of GPCR. What? IP3 mediated pathway of GPCR, that is inositol triphosphate pathway of GPCR. Okay, so now let's discuss on it. Many GPCRs exert their effect via G protein that activate the plasma membrane bound enzyme phospholipase C beta. Okay, phospholipase C beta. Very good. Now activated phospholipase B cleaves PIP2 phosphatidyl inositol biphosphate. What? Phosphatidyl inositol bisphosphate to generate two products. They are inositol, they are inositol 1,4,5 triphosphate, that is IP3, which is also the second messenger here. Okay, as CAMP, and another one is diacyl glycerol. Okay, now IP3 is water soluble signaling molecule that triggers the opening of IP3 gated calcium release channels in the AR membrane. Okay, the opening of this channel results in the release of calcium stored in the ER lumen. Okay, and DAG remains in the plasma membrane, and contributes along with calcium to the activation of protein kinase C. Okay, we'll discuss the further concept in detail as well. Now several mechanisms attenuate signaling through this pathway, including the phosphorylation, dephosphorylation of IP3, and the pumping of cytosolic calcium to the exterior of the cell. Okay, now see this concept in detail. Here you can see up to this the same concept will work here also as of CMP pathway. Here also you can see the signaling molecule bind to the GPCR, then the GPCR gets activated, and when GTP substitutes the GDP of alpha subunit, then alpha subunit also gets activated. Same concept here guys. And after to that, what actually happens is this G protein will bind to another enzyme, membrane bound enzyme called phospholipase C beta. Okay guys, phospholipase C beta. This is only the concept here, guys. In the CMP pathway, we have discussed about the enzyme adenylyl cyclase. Okay, and here we will discuss about the enzyme phospholipase C beta. Okay, yeah. Many GPCR exerts their effect via G protein that activate the plasma membrane bound enzyme. Yeah, that is phospholipase C beta. Got, guys? Yeah. Now let's see more. Yeah. Now let's see the overall concept here. Here you can see the activated phospholipase C beta, the membrane bound complex, which is being activated by G protein. Yeah, actually what's the work of this enzyme is that the activated PLC beta cleaves PIP2. What? It is the complex bound with the membrane here. Yeah, as you can clearly see, this is the membrane. Yeah, this activated PLC beta cleaves PIP to generate two products, and they are inositol 1,4,5 triphosphate IP3, yeah, and diacyl glycerol. Okay, guys, diacyl glycerol. This is the important concept here, guys. Try to understand. Here you can see here. Actually, the work of lipase is to break down the lipase. Yeah, lipid, actually break down the lipid, and this is the lipid complex PIP2, and which breaks into two products. They are IP3 and DAG. Okay, now let's see. Here, as you can see here, cleavage is being occurring, and after to that, this DAG remains bounded with the membrane. Yeah, as we have already mentioned in the previous points as well. And this IP3 comes in the cytosol. Okay. Now this IP3, what it does is it binds with the ligand domain of ion channels on ER, endoplasmic reticulum. Yeah. Okay. And after to that, it opens the IP3 gated channel, as you can clearly see. And after the opening of IP3 gated channel here, yeah, IP3 gated channel, the calcium from the lumen of endoplasmic reticulum releases outside of the endoplasmic reticulum, okay, into the cytosol. Okay, guys, getting or not? Into the cytosol. Here you can see, yeah, calcium. First of the calcium ions get released from the endoplasmic reticulum to the cytosol. Okay. Now after the release of calcium, this calcium binds with many other proteins, yeah, and many other transducers, actually, yeah, many other transducers, and form and takes part in most of the events, and thus according to that the cell responses, yeah, the cell responds. And here if you see, the DAG, which is still membrane bounded, will bind to another protein kinase inside the cell. Here the protein kinase is protein kinase C, okay, which was initially inactivated. After binding to the DAG and also with the calcium, this protein kinase is activated. Okay, and this protein kinase helps in phosphorylating other molecules inside the cytosol, and thus shows cellular responses. Yeah, so this is the basic concept here, guys. Yeah, so I hope you are catching the concept here. Okay, now let's move on. Yeah, here you can see about how the phospholipase breaks the PIP2 complex. Here you can see DAG, which is connected with the cell membrane, plasma membrane, and IP3. Yeah, DAG, what it does is activates protein kinase C, yeah, which further phosphorylates other molecules in the cytosol, and further downstream process takes place, and according to that the cell responses. This is the basic idea here. Now here IP3, what it does is releases calcium from the endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, yeah, so this is the basic idea, guys. This is the overall idea for IP3 mediated GPCR signal. Okay guys, yeah. And this cleavage occurs by the hydrolysis, yeah, hydrolysis of PIP2 by phospholipase C beta. This is the common concept here guys. Okay, the downstream effects of the two signaling products of PIP2 cleavage IP3 and DAG. You can clearly see here. Here you can see the signaling products of PIP2 cleavage complex downstream processes. Here you can see this is the process of IP3 and this is the process of DAG. Okay, here IP3 takes part in opening the channels, IP3 gated channels and release of calcium ions, yeah, and this DAG takes part in activation of protein kinase C and further cellular responses take place according to that. This is the basic idea, basic concept guys. Yeah, I hope you are getting the concept here. Yeah, now if I say here, yeah guys, and this IP3 is the secondary messenger as that of CAMP. Yeah, the same concept is here also. Yeah, now let's talk about the calcium guys. Yeah, calcium is a ubiquitous intracellular mediator. Okay, what it actually means here, let's see. Many extracellular signals triggers an increase in cytosolic calcium concentration. Yeah, the calcium enters the cytoplasm from either the outside of the cell or from the lumen of the ER. As you have already discussed, a variety of calcium binding protein help to relay the cytosolic calcium signals. Okay, the most important of this is a calmodulin, very important protein here guys, an abundant protein that acts as a multi-purpose calcium receptor in all eukaryotic cells. Okay, the calcium that or calmodulin complex binds to a number of target protein including calcium calmodulin dependent protein kinases. Yeah, this is the concept here guys. One of the best studied is CAM kinase 2 that exhibits a molecular memory as a result of a specific autophosphorylation reaction. Yeah, so guys, this is the basic concept if I talk of calcium here. And also guys, calcium has major role in muscle contraction. In addition to these all points, calcium has an important role in muscle contraction, cell adhesion, also takes parts in apoptosis and cell growth and division. Yeah, so these are the basic idea for the calcium, the importance of calcium to the cell. Yeah, so these are the basic concept here guys. Yeah guys, so now let's summarize what we have discussed. We have discussed about the GPCR. Yeah, GPCR. In this we have discussed about the CAMP and what IP3. CAMP mediated pathway of GPCR and IP3 mediated path of GPCR. Yeah, here a CAMP acts as the secondary messenger and here in other pathway IP3 acts as the secondary messenger. Yeah, here the enzyme acting is adenylyl cyclase. Here the enzyme acting is phospholipase C. Yeah, phospholipase C. This is the idea guys, and the overall concept of doing these all processes are that according to the type of cell, the cell mediates the downstream process and the cell responses. Yeah, for the different types of molecules or signaling molecules, there are different downstream processes. Yeah, that takes place inside the cell and the cell according to that responds. So this is the basic idea for cell signaling, the overall concept for cell signaling. Yeah, so I hope that you got the overall concept of cell signaling. Yeah, go through the video once again and get the concept, the overall concept of cell signaling. So guys, this much for today. I hope this video is effective to understand the cell signaling concept here. So for today, this much only. If you like the video, hit the like button, do share and subscribe the channel, and share with your colleagues, friends. Yeah, and enjoy, have fun. Bye bye.